I guess on my hair, she look alright. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. Okay, honey, it looks like we're recording, so we're gonna go ahead and do this. Let's first put out this disclaimer, honey. I know I promised y'all that this video here that I'm wearing, what is this, the Adept Cosmetics Remaster palette, honey? I know I promised y'all she'd be up today on Thursday. I'm recording this video right now. It's about 10:15 on Thursday. This video should be up by 3 o'clock, no problem. But this Adept Cosmetics, she gonna have to wait till Saturday, honey, because I got to play with her again. I got to go ahead and see some more. And plus, I just got a call about some things that I need to go ahead and handle today. So I need to be heading out. But I'm like, Torrence, if you leave now, you risk not getting back in time. You risk your people not getting your information, your videos. And I got to stop acting like y'all not a priority in my life, honey. I love y'all. I love this channel. I love the support. And so while I was sitting back thinking like, Torrence, what could you record really quickly? Don't have to edit, just get all the pieces together, be out the door, and be back. A collection of one of my favorite brands. Because I realized what I'm wearing right now is Adept Cosmetics. They make my favorite multi-chromes. As a whole, Pat McGrath, I would say makes my favorite shimmers. But with each palette that Adept drops, it seems like they slowly creeping up on Pat McGrath. And I realized you've done videos on Pat McGrath, you've done videos on Adept, you've never done one on your favorite matte formula, and it's crazy how many of you all I comment with, DM with, when they ask me, do you recommend this brand, do you do this? Anytime someone asks me, do you recommend Viseart, I tell them, they have my absolute favorite matte formula in makeup. I've never tried a matte eyeshadow formula that is quite as beautiful as this one. And so I have my collection right here over to the side. I want to go ahead and show you all of the items that I have from Viseart. The thing is, I want you all to try to remember, one, it has taken me years to gather a collection this large. So please do not try to feel some type of way if you feel as if your collection is inadequate if you don't have all of these. And also try to remember, too, I am someone who receives a pro discount for Vizier and have for many years. So a lot of times when a palette drops brand new, and we'll just say their regular 12-pan palettes are $80, when I first started and found out about the brand, I may have been paying that price. But once I got my pro discount, I personally do not have to pay full price to gather things for my collection. So that is how I managed to get so many of these items, but I'm here to tell you, I truly believe these items were worth the full price when I was paying that, and if for any reason I were to lose my pro discount, I would still genuinely believe that these items are worth their full price, and I will continue to collect them because I just can't be without them. I absolutely love them. I do have a few notes here because this video can only be a half an hour long before it cut us off. And I'm just sitting back looking and thinking like, Torrence, look at how things is all nice and reorganized. I just got to give a shout out because it is a Black History Month, honey. Jade Natural candles, y'all see those up there? I absolutely love them. Right now for the month of February, I believe this one here on the end is called Melanin. It comes in many different shades of brown. I have one here, 3 other ones that I've ordered in the next room. They all have slightly different hues of brown, which is why I believe they are beautiful. But they have the same fragrance, Black Girl Magic, and it is absolutely amazing. And during the month of February, I believe they are selling those Melanin candles while supplies last for $10. I don't have a discount code or anything. It's not like I'm affiliated with the company. I love the products, I support the products, and I just wanted to share that with you all. So if you wanted to try some handmade candles from Michigan, want to sell for Black History Month, try out Jade Naturals. I'll make sure I leave their link in the description bar below. But we need to go ahead and get on Viseart. Most of my Viseart palettes, and I'm trying to be very careful because if I drop one of these, I promise y'all gonna see me have a nervous breakdown and cry on camera. I try to store most of my palettes on one of these little organizers here. I believe this organizer holds 9 different palettes, and I want to see if I can turn it to the front so you can see it. Like this. Different Z palettes that I've collected over the years. I believe most of these are stored in large palettes. That's what these are here. But I want to go ahead and sit her down because once again, if I drop her, I'm going to cry. And 2, she heavy, and I want to show y'all what we got. First off is the first 3 palettes that I got from Viseart. These, I believe, are still being sold, but I believe they are discontinuing these and pushing them out. And these are the Viseart Theory palettes. Let me open this up and show you all the very, very, very first palette and product I've ever tried from Viseart was this second one here, the Viseart Theory Minx. This one here is a replacement. My very original one is in a drawer over here to the side. I keep it for sentimental reasons because when I first got into makeup, blush was my way of playing with color because I figured blush was something that I could easily blend and have no issues with. Eyeshadow was scary to me because when I followed other people's techniques, I didn't realize most of the people I enjoyed watching did not have hooded eyes, so they weren't using techniques that would benefit me or brushes that would benefit me. And so when I would follow along, things always went, bad. I finally saw, and I can't remember who it was that recommended certain brushes for hooded eyes, and when I went out to the mall to pick them up at Sephora, the representative recommended this palette here for me, and I've been hooked ever since. This one here, she looked brand new because I don't think I've actually used it. I still use my older one. But left to right, these are the Theory palettes. When the Theory palettes first came out, I believe they showed you got 3 mattes on one side, 3 shimmers on the other side, and they went from lightest to darkest. I'm going to give you a close-up of these first 3. And left to right, you have Theory Cashmere, which is the first one. The second one is Theory 2 Minx. And the third one is Theory 3 Chroma, I believe. Yes. So you see you have a slightly cooler tone one, a slightly warmer tone one, and an extremely cool tone one. Once again, Theory 1 Cashmere, Theory 2 Minx, Theory 3 Chroma. After that, they came out with numbers 4 through 6. Number 4 really shook the internet up, and for years this was considered as one of the best purple palettes in the makeup industry amongst pro MUAs that I know. But when they started going to number 5, you notice number 5 does not fit the same description as the others, where you have 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, 3 mattes, 3 shimmers. Number 5 here is 6 shimmers. And to me, this is where the Theory palette started to die off, because those of us who truly love them, love that 3 matte, 3 shimmer because I could get a full eye look. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, the most disappointing one of them all for me is number 6 here, because as someone who truly loves green eyeshadows, greens are my favorites. When I saw the neutrals get 3 mattes and 3 shimmers, I just knew when they said number 6 was coming, I was gonna get 3 matte greens. That's not what happened. But the formula was so beautiful, I still collected them all. So I want to go ahead and give you a close-up view of these 3 here. This is Theory 4 Amethyst, Theory 5 Nuance, and Theory 6 Absinthe. And you would think with a name like Absinthe for number 6, I just wanted 6 green shades. I didn't want any neutrals because I had them, but I will admit, I've never done an ugly look with this palette. I just never been able to do a complete, excuse me, a complete monotone, monochromatic green look with that palette. And let me go ahead and get me a little hand sanitizer because, honey, I understand this is a live video, but it ain't never time to be unsanitary, honey. Let me get me a couple of steps of that. Yes, ma'am. And there's only one more Theory palette left. And if you notice, I have them in different types of containers. This one here is the black croc. This one here for 4 through 6 is the pink croc. Now we have our leopard print. This is number 7, Theory 7 Siren. I believe out of all of them, for the warm tone palette, she probably would be the one that I wear the absolute least, just simply because I would like a shade a little bit darker. So if I were to wear number 7 here, which is Siren, more than likely I would have one more darker shade to add to this palette. Now, with these first 3, those were all the Theory. The next, which one of these 6, are all 12 pan palettes, and this is where I believe Viseart made their like grand entrance to the world. Most people who heard about Viseart has heard about them because of these palettes here, and I'm here to tell you, they're worth every penny. And I know y'all gonna be looking at these like, wait, Torrence, those look completely unused. It look like you don't know nothing about them. I'm here to tell you, over the years, I originally bought them in their original packaging, and back in the day, we used to have to depot those. When you did, you had a chance of shattering them, but you would repress them and you would be good. Once they came out with them in the Slim Pro packaging, where you could easily just magnetize and pull them out, I rebought my whole collection. So all my older ones are in my freelance kit. All these newer ones are here in my personal kit. And look at this. These 2, I don't have these in order, but on the left you have Neutral Mattes, which is palette 1. And on the right you have Neutral Mattes 2, Milieu, which I am not sure which palette number that is. I believe it may be number 12. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll leave that in the description bar. But you can see with these 2, you have almost any and every neutral shade that you would need. And I'm telling you, I've probably taken Neutral Mattes 1 with me to see so many clients, because the thing was, if I did not know exactly what colors you liked, I knew for sure I could always take this Neutral Mattes palette, build up my crease, and then just top it off with a shimmer shade. If you like purples, I knew I could still do a neutral crease with a purple lid and my client would be happy. It was never ever a bad day with this palette here. Although I know the general public tends to prefer this one a little bit more because it's a little warmer and it has that pop of blue. For me in professional uses, this one here was always the one to go for. I still believe it may even be their best-selling palette, but everybody I know who has Viseart has this palette, and I tell them it's worth the money. The next 2 we got up, well, this one is one by itself because they haven't come out with a variation of them. This one here is in the plain purple. That last one here was in like a duochrome, multi-chrome purple here. But this one here is the Warm Matte palette. I believe this one here is called the palette number 10. And when you look at her, make sure that ain't about to fall out, baby, because I was about to get scared. You can see and understand exactly why they call this palette the Warm Mattes. Once again, this is palette number 10. Those bottom 9 shades are rather neutral, but you have those top 3 to add a little bit of intensity. Whether you want to add a punch of yellow, a punch of orange, or a punch of red, or just use those colors by themselves, you can really just take and go in with these and create any warm look you want. And like I said, let's say you like this shade, but you wish he was just a little warmer. You can choose how much warmer you want them to make by mixing them and keeping it going. Fabulous palette, I'm not gonna lie, but because I'm someone who generally prefers either straight up neutrals to, I'm gonna say, slightly cooler neutrals, this palette just doesn't quite get the use that he deserves. The next 2, honey, I just told y'all I prefer neutrals to cool tone neutrals, honey. So, for these next 2, I almost lost my nose, honey. Let me bring that back. This here is the Cool Mattes and the Cool Mattes 2. And I have to be careful because, honey, remember I used to tell y'all back in the day, we had to depot these things on our own and you risk palette shattering. Look on the left at this Cool Mattes 1. And a shade just fell out, honey. I just heard it hit the ground. I'm looking like, and I can see crumbs everywhere. You know what? Because I know what I know, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to leave that be. But I'm going to come back to y'all and show y'all. That one shade, that red shade popped straight out and hit the floor in my Neutral Mattes 1. and you can see how I tried to repress them. She looks a hot mess for the Nutramax 1. On the right, we have the Nutramax 2, which came in the new packaging where I was able to just pull it straight out, so I had no issues. The thing is, with all of my palettes that I was able to repurchase, I did so. With this Cool Mattes 1, the only way to repurchase this palette is to get it in the exact same basic packaging here. And you know what? Once I realized all the issues I had with repressing this one and that they discontinued this palette, I did not have the heart to repress this one and pull it out. So I still have Cool Mattes 1 in its original packaging here. So if I ever want to use it, I have that shade that just fell out right here. So the fact that that one fell out, is my feelings hurt? Yeah. But because I know I got a backup of her and I know this video is on the time limit, she's just going to have to go in the trash for that one. But right here, I want to show y'all. This is a Betty Boop Z palette that I collected. And for Cool Mattes, the original Cool Mattes was palette number 7. Cool Mattes 2 was palette number 11. The next one we have is also another Betty Boop palette. This one here is much more colorful. And she's much more colorful because the shades on the inside are much more colorful. Two more palettes that, once again, repurchased because they were fabulous. And I'm going to say, I think this may have been my second or third purchase. I know for sure Minx was my first. I believe Nutramax 1 was my second. But once I got comfortable and I knew I wanted to play with colors, this here became my favorite palette for a good 2-3 years. You could not tell me nothing about it. My old one, the pink and the yellow in that one, I hit pan on that so easily and had to repurchase it. And then once they came out with it in the Slim Pro, I repurchased it again. The Editorial Brights, I believe, is palette number 8. The Dark Mattes is palette number 4. And I want to come closer and show you. Imagine being someone like myself who absolutely loves colorful shades, who absolutely love greens, and seeing the variety in these two palettes alone. Look how many shades of greens, yellows, and blues I have to create my own custom greens. When I tell you, for years, although Vizier has been my favorite matte formula since the day I tried them, you could not keep me from using this palette at least every other day, maybe every 3 days. I just had to have it. I became hooked on it. It was that fabulous. Now, I'm not going to lie. With this Dark Mattes palette, it seemed like people are 50-50 on it. Either you absolutely love this palette or you absolutely hate it. I personally say if you're going to go for this palette, make sure you get it from an authorized retailer and don't buy it secondhand, because you never know how fresh that palette is, and that could, give you issues with quality if, say, you bought a secondhand palette off someone that's already 3 years old but you did not know it. So if you want this, get it from somewhere like Sephora, Beautylish, or Viseart themselves, and I believe you'll have a wonderful time with this one. And so far with these 12 pan palettes, they've all been mattes, which is why they were closer to the front, because Viseart makes my favorite matte formula. But they also make shimmers, and I'm not going to lie. When they first started doing these shimmers, they weren't my favorites, but I was still buying them. Nowadays, Viseart shimmers are off the chain, honey. And one of the palettes that we gonna show y'all for these two, which one are y'all? This is the Bridal Satin palette number 3 and Bijoux Royal palette number 9. Pink glitter packaging here for this Z palette. I ain't gonna lie, I just got it just to have something different because I'm not the biggest fan of glitter. But the one thing I can say is over 99% of the glitter that was gonna fall off has fallen off when I first got it. So now it's not an issue. But look at these shades here. That left is Bridal Satin. And when I first got into doing makeup, I had everyone telling me I really needed some satin shades in my collection because metallic shades don't always film the best on camera, especially with brides. And so I think the #1 person who was pushing the Bridal Satins was Wayne Goss, so I absolutely love it. But as someone who likes dark jewel tones, that Bijoux Royale was exactly the palette I was looking for. And I'm trying to make sure that my camera is focused on this palette and not focused on me. But y'all can see just how beautiful those shades are. And last for my 12 pan palettes, the thing is, I'm glad I grabbed it before it left because they kept telling us, she limited edition. Don't be sitting back playing it then getting mad when you can't get it, because with some pigments, companies only are allowed to get so much of it, and once it's gone, it's gone. And Viseart took that upon themselves to make a very beautiful curated color story. This is called the Koi palette. This one here is in a much more clear iridescent glitter packaging, unlike the pink one. And when you look at this color story, honey, she just says fairy tale colorful dreams to me. She's not as dark as the Bijoux Royale, but she's not quite pastel either. She's a very bright, colorful palette, and I think out of all of their just basic shimmers for the 12 pan palettes, this here, the Koi palette, may be the most beautiful of them all. Like, look at her. I think, honestly, this is also the one that I've used the least, but it was one I had to have because everybody was always talking about how cute they are, but the final decision on getting this one, my favorite YouTuber, Kelsey Brianna J, said you gotta have it, so I got it, no doubt about it. And we're gonna put these to the side here. Broop, broop, broop. And baby, I'm trying my hardest to move slow because y'all know I'm already scared about dropping that other one. My miniature palettes. I have some smaller palettes here. These are also stored in Z palettes on the same 9-pan organizer. The thing is, these are holding, I believe, their miniature or their small containers. And we're gonna go ahead and get into these. The first one we have here is a single shadow. I believe this came with free gift with purchase because I've been trying my hardest not to get it. This is a single shade. It is called Nude Caramel, and this is from the Grande Pro 1X. Oh, excuse me. Just a basic brown shade, honey. It's nothing special about it, but just to have it in my collection, I wanted to have it. It was free, so go ahead and give it here. More than likely, I'm gonna just give this shade away. I have not used it, but because I don't have the Grande Pro 1X, I have chosen not to go ahead and give this away yet. The next miniature palette is a miniature Betty Boop, like Betty Boop Boop Be-Doop. Look at how cute she is, honey, coming through for the girls. Now, these are the Petite Pro Palettes. These are Viseart's miniature 8-pan palettes, and although I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I just collect them. I don't see me ever using them. I don't recall. I think with 2 or 3 of them, I may have tried them 2 or 3 times, but other than that, it's just to be able to say that I got them all, especially their matte formula. But this first one is called Petit Pro Un and Petit Pro Deux. I believe that's French for 1 and 2. Please don't hold me against that, but this is what these two look like. And as you can see, it's a very small palette, but considering the fact you get 4 mattes on the top, 4 shimmers on the bottom, it is enough to create a whole color story. And I think they're just absolutely beautiful. The only thing I wish is, because I have very large brushes, is that I would have preferred a larger pan size, but this is for those who want something really compact. And although it may not be the easiest to get a large brush in here, you can still coat your brush using these palettes. Next up, for the Petite Pros and the small pink packaging here, we have numbers 3, which is Petit Pro Trois. I believe, yeah, Trois means 3, and Petit Pro Apricotine. And I believe Apricotine sounds like apricot, and considering the color story, that's what I would guess it would be. Trois, having those greens are fabulous. There was no way you were going to keep it from me. And with Apricotine, I personally think the shimmers are much more flattering on my complexion just because I have hooded eyes. So I would like something a little darker for the mattes. But you can see these two here are absolutely stunning. Next up, in the Leopard Print packaging, we have numbers 5 and 6. Number 5 is Petit Pro Soleil. Number 6 is Chou Chou. And I believe these two came and went so fast because the world saw them and they had to have them. Small leopard print packaging like one of the larger ones. But once you get inside and you see these two, it's like, oh, honey, she is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Let me go ahead and show y'all these two. Once again, 5 is Soleil. I want to make sure I have this right there. And 6 is Chou Chou. I'm trying to see why we getting a bad angle on this, honey. I want y'all to see that, not see me, honey. I got to cover my face in order for the camera to catch on. And these are bright colors. When I tell you Viseart sold these so fast, I didn't even think I was going to get them. Petit Pro 7 and 8 is 7 is called Midsommer and 8 is called Solstice. I think if you are someone who likes really soft, romantic, neutral colors, or you are someone who has a very fair, light skin tone complexion, you are gonna love these. This one here, just plain pink packaging. Once again, 7 is Midsommer, 8 is Solstice, and look at these. I think these two palettes are the main reasons that I still have not purchased the Natasha Denona Retro palette, because I look at colors like this that I have not used and it makes me wonder, am I going to get any use out of the Retro palette if I don't get any use out of these? And I tend to prefer Viseart's formula more than Natasha's. So I'm going to test these out, and if I do like it, I may get that Natasha the palette, but there's no way you're going to convince me to buy that without testing out these first. The last one is the newest one that they just came out with. I believe I got this right around Christmas time. This is number 9, the Petit Pro Paris Etoile. I believe it's either Etoile or Etoile. I don't speak Spanish, honey, so please don't hold me for that. But look at how dark and grungy this is. Like I told y'all, I prefer neutrals to cool tones. And when you look at this, because I also prefer jewel tones over like pastels, she is such a dark romantic look. I really wish I was feeling better around New Year's Eve, because this looked like this would have been the perfect palette for that event. And on this particular rack, even though it necessarily doesn't go here, I wasn't sure I was going to get any of the edit palettes, and all of my edit palettes actually only fit on one of these here. So what I'm going to do is just flip the camera one time. This should be the only time we should have to do this, just to make sure I can show you all the next palettes and the next one. So we're going to hold our finger up here. It looked like we recorded again, so we're going to go ahead and be good. And I'm going to pull this one over to the side, but I want to show you the last palette that is a part of that collection. And I keep it to the side because she's my favorite. These next few are the edit palettes. I believe these are the same size pan size as those miniature Petite Pros that I just showed you. So the pans are the exact same size, but instead of having 8 like the Petite Pros, the edit palettes I believe have 12 pans. And my favorite one of them all is in this denim, it's like denim jeans. It's a small compact here. This one here is called the dark edit. And I just want to show you all for comparison with the 8 pan and the 12 pan looks like. So you can see it's the exact same pan size. It's just you get 4 more colors with this one. So let me bring that closer for you all. I'm trying my hardest not to blind you all. But let me go ahead and put this one down here. Just pull this back for y'all. Dark edit, jewel tones, colorful shades, my type of colors. When I tell you, when they brought this one out, I immediately jumped up on it. Colorful mattes, colorful shimmers. What else did I need from life? But, of course, like Viseart, they ain't gonna just drop one and then call it that. When they got a good idea, they gonna roll with it. So, in this one Sephora palette, I have 4 other edits. This is a double-sided Sephora palette. I'm not even sure if they make these anymore, but I knew for sure I needed something to hold my palettes in that made it easier to get to, but there was no way I was about to sit there and try to find one of these for every single 2 palettes that I had just to make sure they could all fit. You see with this, I get 3 of these on there. With one of these, I can fit 4. I have a much more softer, much more romantic neutral side. That's this first one here. I believe with these two, if one of them is not sold out, they both may be sold out. But this here is your much more neutral pinky purple side, and I want to try to keep my fingers out the way, but I'm telling you, it is so scary to make sure you do not drop anything while you're trying to show your collection. And you can see what those colors look like. I really wish I could pull this back for you all, because this is what's getting in my way. Do I have a sheet of paper or something I can protect that glare from? Let me see if I can do it like this. Okay, there you go. Now, with these 2 palettes, absolutely stunning. Once again, these are neutrals. So, for the edits, on the left side, you have Rose Edit. On the right side, you have Paris Edit. And I believe Rose Edit is the one that's already sold out. If you can potentially find her, I say get her. She's fabulous. Small and compact, but when you look at having these 24 different shades, you can create a beautiful, soft, romantic look. It is nice, it is beautiful, but it's when you get to the other shade that, to me, things get a little bit warmer. And although I prefer to use this side on clients, it's not my personal cup of tea just because these shades are so warm. But one of the most beautiful looks I've ever done on my little sister was using this palette here. These are the 2 warmer edit palettes. And I want to try to make sure I get you a close-up view of those. On the left, you have the warm edit, which is my sister's favorite. On the right, you have the spritz edit. And I want to try to see if I can pull this back. You know what? We might have to get that glare because I want you all to get a true view of what these colors look like. Once again, that warm edit on the left, that spritz edit on the right. Fabulous. I personally, just looking at them online, spritz edit just looked more beautiful to me because it had these little poppy, punchy, you know, corally, peachy shades. But warm edit, that's where it's at. My clients love it, and like I said, this is my sister's favorite one. Next up, honey, after the edit palettes, I'm going to say basically, how can we put it? It's not that they receive bad reviews because people genuinely love the products. It's just that many people find it hard to want to go ahead and purchase palettes where the pan sizes were so small. They looked at it as, for companies that make quality products, they still wanted convenient products. And I believe that's where the birth of these came from. These are the Viseart Attendu palettes. Now, Attendu, I'm not sure exactly what it means, but basically what it meant for me was the rebirth of something that I loved and was able to come back, because Viseart has since discontinued these Minx palettes, these Theory palettes. So with my favorite being Theory Minx, my heart was truly broken when it was gone, but I have backups for myself. But imagine every time you use it on someone and they ask, what is that? You have to tell them it's something that's discontinued. They don't want to hear that. But what Vizier did to help make it up to us, honey, and just, it was an emotional day that day. They took these 6-pan palettes and slowly but surely, they're churning them out and turning them into 12-pan palettes. This one here, Cashmere. This one here is Minx. 6 pans. Look at how beautiful their new 12-pan counterparts are in the Attendu series. The one on the left is the remake, and this one is called Cashmere. It went from Cashmere to Cashmere. This one here is the remake. It went from Minx to Minxette. And if you notice, if I turn it this way, these first six shades here look just like those 6 in the Minx. And when you come over to the Cashmere, you be like, wait, I see those original 6 as well. So To me, this was absolutely stunning. I was so ecstatic that palettes that had been discontinued were being brought back, and not only being brought back, but being made available in larger quantity color stories. Instead of getting just 6 colors, I am now getting 12. I'm going to get depth and dimension on an old favorite. If I absolutely loved you and you were my favorite when you were a 6 pan, imagine how much I'm going to love you when you bring 6 extra colors for me to do even more. Personally, me personally, just speaking as a customer, I think that these Attendo palettes are the best thing that Viseart has done because it gives you the best of variety and price point. Many people ain't got $80 for those larger 12 pan palettes, but for these, I believe these range about the $45 mark, somewhere up in there. Fabulous, fabulous. The next two I have are the two that I believe personally I see more online, but I don't see them being used quite as often in person. And these two is the, let me see, which one are you? The Paris Love Letter is on the left and Soleil La Plague is on the right. And let me show you what these two look like here. Baby, on the left, everybody wanted that for the pop of blue. On the right, everybody wanted that for the pop of green, which is me. I personally believe the one with the pop of blue has sold more, but because I'm a green person, this is going to always be my heart. And I'm here to tell you, ain't no point of lying. The shimmers in these are not quite as deep as I would want them to be, so I generally prefer the shimmers on these. But wait, did I say that right? The mattes in here aren't as deep as I want, so I generally prefer the shimmers. But there's nothing this side could ever do to compete with this side. I'm just going to put it out there. The love that I have for the color story on this side, it's just nothing that a neutral with a pop of color can come in and do to, you know, fight that. But that don't mean it's over for her, because the last two Viseart Attendo palettes that we have here, the Bijouette and the Violette, honey, I ain't a fan for a pop of color. Give me color or send me home. And look at this Bijouette and this Violette. Look at those two and tell me this ain't the type of thing that I would fall for. And I'm sitting here looking like, hold on, why you ain't getting no good view of that? That Bijouette with those bold colors. You know I love me a green. You have dark mattes for my crease. And then that Violette, remember we had that Amethyst, which was one of the best purples. Then you went in and you added 6 other shades to it. Check online, I promise you. Look up Viseart Violette and tell me that every single tutorial you see on that does not produce a fabulous look. Because this is one of the best purple palettes on the market. And you can't keep it from me. I absolutely love her. I have to have her. She got to be around. The thing is, with Viseart, to this day, remember that Editorial Brights, that 12 pan palette was my favorite. When they dropped these 3, they instantly became the greatest things in my makeup collection. They cost way too much, and if you know me right now, I had a makeup budget of $175 a month, and that was just in case for any reason they ever dropped another one of these, I don't have to be without it. Now, what I believe they have done is gone ahead and shrunk these down to the Attendo size, because the pans and these palettes here, I believe were the same size of the 12 pan palettes, but by shrinking the pan size, they could shrink the price, get more people to try them. And first up, Viseart Grande Pro 1. This is volume 1. She's a neutral palette, but she does have some pop of colors for deepening things up. Look at this. I believe this particular one was either $150 or $175, and I'm telling you, if they re-dropped it right now, they would not have to ask me, do I want another one? Yes, I do. The thing is, they've updated this palette, and it's now called the Grande Pro 1X. I believe it has an additional row of shades. I believe it has some slightly more, I'm going to say, warmer tones added to it. I'm waiting to get it, but I'm trying to hold off because I still have this palette. This is sold out in limited edition, and it's still good. With the Pro X being full-time, I can grab that at any moment. But look at this. If you told me, Torrence, you could only travel for the rest of your life with one neutral palette, that neutral mattes would have been it. But for myself, the fact that these got these purples and pinks to it, she the one. Once again, she's discontinued, but if you want a more affordable version that has even more colors, they have the Pro 1X. But this here, she gonna have to start like literally producing dust and smoke and chemical, compounds that ain't healthy for you before I throw her out. Because even when she's no longer good on the eyes, she will still be good for memory and good for artwork. Then after that, I'm sitting back thinking, Torrence, Grande Pro 1, they done came through. What could they possibly do for Pro 2 to help this? Like, you got everything you need, Torrence. Your favorite brand came out with mattes. What could they possibly do after that? Remember I told y'all I used to be okay with these shimmers. They wasn't my favorite. Baby, they said, you know what? We're going to come up with some new formulas, some new textures. We tired of y'all saying that our shimmers ain't up to par with our mattes. Grande Pro 2. When I tell you this volume 2 brought the drama, honey. This is 6 rows of shadows. No, 6 columns. Different formula in each one. I'm not sure exactly which one, but I'm going to say like you're going to have like a duochrome row, a shimmer row, a metallic row, a satin row. Like each row has different formulas. And when you look at the colors, oh wait, I got it right here in the back. Sheer transformers. This one here is sparkly shades. They call them prismatic metals. This third row here is called foil shades. They call them chromatic foils. The fourth row is called luxe metallics. Those are like a velvet finish. The fifth row is celestial duochromes. They're like duochromes, like they say. And the last row here is glitter topper shades. I didn't even realize. I put those notes on the back for me. It lets me know how much coverage and opacity they have, as well as the formula and the name. But look at this. Imagine having that neutral mattes palette and then being given 6 different formulas and all different shades. You have neutrals, you have colorfuls. So to me, going to do somebody's makeup with these two was all you needed. Whether they wanted a neutral look or a colorful look, you could pull it off, and so you had these. But imagine me thinking life don't get no better and then having them drop, which is still to this day my absolute favorite eyeshadow palette of all time. And it just has me scared and nervous of what they're going to do if they ever come out with a Pro 3X, because I personally feel as if this palette is already perfect. So much so that I had a custom Ursula Z palette made for it. I'm telling you, nobody else on earth has this, because I went, found the pictures and organized them in a very specific way. I liked it so much that I even wanted Ursula grinning at me every time I opened it, because they were like, she looking like, yeah, baby, you know you about to be cute, right? Yes, I am. Look at this. In a world of colorful eyeshadows where everybody seems to be playing with you, when it comes to yellows, they only want to give you a warm one and a cool one. When it comes to reds, they don't give you reds that's deep enough. And when it comes to greens, they always want to make sure that the blues outnumber that. So to have 2 full rows of greens, a full row of reds, a full row of yellows, you may. This is my favorite palette of all time, honey. I understand neutrals run the world. But as someone like me, as you can see, who's wearing an all shimmer eye look today, I don't care about the rules. I'm going to wear what makes me feel happy, and nothing does it quite like this palette. And that's why she is my absolute favorite. And I'm telling y'all, I'm sitting here looking because I already know, honey. Y'all love me, so y'all going to support me regardless, and y'all going to give me nice feedback. But I really, really wanted to sit down and do this video a lot better when I finally did put Viseart out there. But I'm here to let y'all know. I done paid way too much money for my Viseart collection. I love and support the brand way too much not to use them more often. Even though they are, I'm going to say, rather expensive, and a lot of these palettes are discontinued, you all seem to love just when I'm having fun. And I really, 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 really want to go back in and try this all shimmer Adept Cosmetics palette with one of these all matte Viseart palettes and see what can I come up with, because I'm telling you, she cute. But to be able to pair my favorite multi-chromes with my favorite mattes, or like something even better, this discontinued all shimmer with this discontinued all matte. Somebody else in the world got both of these just like me, and they may be looking for inspiration. You may be sitting at home and say, you know what, I might not have that specific matte yellow, but I have a matte yellow, so I'll just follow along with you. And I'm telling y'all, I'm about to sit all of this down. We're going to head to therapy, but when I come back, I'm uploading this video. I'm going to spend tonight editing this Adept Cosmetics so y'all can get that. But starting next week, honey, we rolling the videos out. We're going to start being a little more adventurous, because although for specific tutorials and first impressions, I may want to go ahead and use just this, but from now on, y'all risk getting palettes where I'm reaching into this palette for just the yellow, then reaching into this palette for the purple, then reaching in this palette for just the green, then reaching in this palette for that inner corner pink highlight. That's how I really do my makeup behind the scenes. And for the past 2 years or so, I've been trying my hardest to try to keep things as simple and just doing things so you all can follow along. I will still continue to do that because I love the support. I love being able to go ahead and be an inspiration. But I want to be more open, more honest, and give you all more realistic views of how I do things behind the scenes. And as someone who has a very large collection, as you see with just this Viseart, this is a good, 30 palettes, if not more. Imagine the inspiration I could get if I just don't restrict myself to using just this, just that. I go ahead and just let my heart do what it wants to do with the brands I want to do. So, I think that's what we're going to start doing. I need to go ahead, turn this camera off, because baby, let me tell you, I might be able to go ahead and get this video edited so when I come back from therapy, it can already be ready to go for y'all. I think that's what we're going to do. So with nothing else, I hope y'all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed. Make sure y'all give this video a thumbs up. And with nothing else, I hope you all have a blessed day. Goodbye, YouTube. I just messed that whole ending up, but you know what? We can't edit it out. Love y'all. We're going to see how many y'all see and make sure y'all know that I messed that up.